Hi, I'm Master Trooper Gary Cutler.
And I'm Sergeant Blake White, and we are with the Colorado State Patrol.
And this is podcast number 3. We've got some great things coming up on this one. It's winter now, and we're going to be looking at bad winter driving videos. So those are always fun to see. And we're going to tell you a little bit about, what you should be doing instead of the bad driving.
Awesome.
But I think we need additional stuff all the time.
I know you do. I
And
think
so
you always think we need
we
additional
do.
stuff and hosts. And
So I was looking around, and I came across, we now have an on-air sign. So everybody knows that we're on
I don't
air.
even know if that's on. I think it's supposed to light up.
It is on. It's very light.
It's very light. And I love the random chains hanging off of it as well.
Well, when you get it for free, that's about what you get. So we're on air.
Colorado State Patrol podcast. Troopers with a microphone. Now we're in for it. It's roads less traveled. With Blake and Gary. I think they're ready.
So I'd like to welcome you to our third podcast. And I know on the last one, I told everybody that we were going to do the decals, but we opted for donuts.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I didn't realize these donuts were for later on. You brought them in, and I appreciate you bringing them. I got into mine.
Yeah, he dug into them and ate them.
Greenfield one, so yeah, that was...
So, but we did have donuts. We decided that donuts and coffee were a good one there.
Hold on. Okay.
You having problems?
Yes, I'm having a lot of problems. All right.
So I'm going to eat one here and just see how it goes.
Do I have to watch you eat?
Well, you don't have to watch them, but,
I can hear you chewing too. It's like
I'm not doing
donuts, man. Yeah, that's why I already got into mine.
It's a donut, but I can see
it's
why
falling
people
apart.
don't really actually eat these on because they're messy.
No,
So, all right.
I'm not messy.
Thank goodness we
And
got
you
that
got
out
a
of the way here.
Boston cream or whatever.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
fine.
You got the good one. He left me the other one.
I already had a chocolate one yesterday.
We are having cord problems today. This is great. So, all right. So, anyways, we will hit the decal at some point. What we like to do is kind of hit some of the topics that are going on at the time. And so, this one we decided we do. We're going to look at the videos of crashes and things like that. So that's what we wanted to get on here. But first, we had a birthday, and we need to talk
We did,
about
yes. Neither of our birthdays
that. No,
recently.
no.
Yeah, but we did have another birthday.
Right. And it's the state patrols. We turned 85. Yay. Right.
Yeah. Happy birthday to us. I hope everybody's
Yeah,
singing it right now.
That's right. We had donuts instead of
Should we
cake.
pause? Should we pause and listen? No,
I
nobody's
don't
singing.
hear any. No,
All right.
it's not doing it. So, well, if
I-
we'd had some balloons or something, maybe,
Oh.
or
You always think of these things afterward. We could have
I
easily
know.
done like confetti, some party
Oh, that
poppers
would've
in
been
here,
really
all
great.
kinds of things.
yeah. But with it being the 85th, we did get some presents though. They
I
they
brought 'em.
designed some new stuff. So why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah, so I brought in a couple things actually. So we got a 85th anniversary patch, which I think is pretty cool.
Mhm.
It's black and white. It's a little bit based off of our old patch that we had, and then at the bottom we got 85th. So I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully you can see that one. And then prior to that, I also have the 80th patch because I am a patch collector, but I keep all this stuff. So this is our 80th anniversary patch. We also had some cars that we did.
Mhm.
I think I saw one of those recently, which is kind of
Really?
surprising
Yeah.
because those
They're still around.
we go through cars pretty quick because we put a lot of miles on them. Prior to that, this was actually a patch that we wore before 2000s. I don't know
Mhm.
exactly when we switched over, but this was our old patch, and then finally our current patch. So I've got one of everything.
Yeah.
So I keep those in my office typically. I display those along with all my coins and everything.
Those are always good. I won't be around here for the next patch, so maybe.
Well, we hope you're around, just not around the job. Nothing against you.
No, I'm not
but-
planning on dying or anything. No.
No,
but,
we hope you're retired
you're
and
retired,
happy at that
yes.
point.
That's exactly it. So
I'll probably still be here.
You will.
I'm never gonna retire. I'll just because
No.
I'll still look like this. So I might as well just keep working. I'm like, oh, he's finally
Yeah.
old enough to be a cop.
Eat
So
enough of these donuts, then you will have to retire.
that's
so.
that's probably true.
Yeah,
My
well,
heart will
with-
stop.
And with the 85th anniversary here, it got us thinking about some things too. And we looked into the history of the State Patrol, and it's amazing
Yeah.
that you could actually function back then. I mean, a lot of us go, well, how did we do anything without the internet? But they had stuff that you wouldn't even consider. So we've got radios in our cars, and they didn't have those back in the day. We started back in 1935, and the way that they were actually told of calls was somebody would raise a flag. They had predetermined places. So
And these were
sometimes-
just like, from my understanding, it was like Colorado residents.
yeah, there were
that
residents
that would do
some
this.
gas stations sometimes, and what they do is they would get a call that said, "Hey, put the flag up." And then when a state trooper drove by, they go, "Oh, the flag's going." Pull in and find out what. So if you had,
And they'd have to radio in at that point, or they'd
Well,
have to
they'd
call in. They'd
yeah.
have to call in at that point because they didn't have.
Yeah,
the
we didn't
radios to
even
communicate.
get radios. I think it was until like the 40s.
Well,
you know,
and
so-
what's interesting about the initial radios is with this whole flag system and everything, once they finally got radios, it would only go one way, and they didn't even know how far it would go if the officer was listening. They'd send that message and hope that they heard it, but there was no way to confirm it or talk back, and that came later on, which pretty crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, 911 would have just, those guys would have fallen over backwards with that kind of
Yeah.
technology. So
Yeah.
so we have moved forward, and fortunately we can get to you a lot faster than they used to be able to. But that's just one of the neat things that they had back in the day. Maybe we'll hit some more of those in our next time or throughout the podcast that we have.
Yeah, definitely really cool.
All right. Well, like I said, we've got some videos that we're going to look at, but it's about driving in winter weather, which is snow and all that stuff. And so why don't you go over some of the things that people should have in their cars before we get into that situation?
Yeah, so I think before we talk about winter weather is the whole winter preparedness, which should be done before the winter weather. If you are already snow covered in your vehicle, it's probably a little late, but you could still do it. Make sure that you're getting proper tires. That is definitely an investment, but you need to have proper tires because that's going to keep you safe.
Right.
And I would say that I like to say I'm a tire expert.
Yes.
I do know an awful lot about tires. I have spent a lot of time researching tires.
He has. And that's where I want to hit the point on it. So on our YouTube channel here, if you're watching that through there, we have a traction law and chain law section that he did, which he did a really good job of. It gives you a lot of explanation of what you should have tire-wise and for alternative traction devices and things like that, what you need to go up into the mountains on I-70.
Yeah, on I-70 and other areas whenever CDOT implements it. But yeah, check out that video. Tires are key. I mean, you got to have, if you're in Colorado, you got to have all seasons or all weather or snow tires, depending on the time of year. But get the proper tires. And then also, have your vehicle prepared that if you are stuck in a snowstorm, if there's a blizzard, which it happens, sometimes people get stranded because there's just whiteout conditions, something happens, you're in an incident, or you're just stuck in traffic because of crashes or something, you're not going anywhere. Have some blankets, warm clothes, some food, water. Obviously, as we talk about communication, cell phones. So if you're going to have a cell phone, maybe make sure when you're going out on those treks, having a backup charger more than just a car charger, because there are going to be times you don't want your car running that whole time. It can be actually dangerous to be sitting there if you got a snowstorm and your car running. You don't want to create any issues with, bad air coming in. So I would say a battery pack is always great. And then if there's anything else, specifically, I know you are a big shovel guy.
I am. And you've said it before, we have used our shovels a lot. We've dug people out because you're not always just going to be off the side of the road. You could be just stuck on the road. And it's great to be able to scrape down just in front of the tire there, either get it down to the asphalt or concrete, or be able to throw some gravel, rocks, whatever it is to get it that traction so you can get going.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to take up your whole trunk. They have some really compact shovels. I know I was at Costco and saw some. I bought some for my personal car too, because we carry shovels in our patrol cars and we have used them plenty of times, but having that is really helpful if you were in a bad situation. Just getting it out of the way so your car can get rolling. That's pretty awesome to have.
It is.
Yeah, so just go through and make sure you have that stuff, I would say.
Yes, and if you're looking for any Christmas gifts for me, I could use a new shovel.
I will give you one out of my patrol car.
I would rather have a new one.
I know you'd rather have a new one. We do use them,
It's not a white elephant gift.
Well, we use it for roadkill, so it might smell a little bit like a skunk or something.
I might get my own here.
Hey, you can't be picky.
Oh, well,
if that's what you're asking for, if I give you a used shovel, that's what I
would like a new Christmas shovel.
It has character. My shovel has character, and you're gonna have
smells. No, it's I put fires out with mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we do use them.
I have a wide range. If you take what we've done with our shovels, we have a lot of different jobs.
So get a shovel. Get a shovel is what Gary's saying.
That's right. Get a
year
shovel.
round. You can put out fires. You can get out of the snow. You can
chase off bears.
I wouldn't chase a bear off with a shovel, but Gary does. There are other methods that are more effective, but yeah, great tool. So anyway, just make sure your vehicle's prepared. Get washer fluid in there so that if you were driving down the roadway, you can see proper wipers. that are actually going to clear it and not just smear a mess across your windshield.
Mhm.
Those basic things that you need to have year round are really important in winter when you've got reduced visibility. You need to be paying attention. All these things come into play that we preach.
Yes.
Because the weather just adds another problem onto it. So,
And we wanted to hit our pet peeve though of clearing off the snow off the
yeah.
top of the vehicle.
Yeah, get a snow broom or something. I was just looking at those. You can get, I've got one for my cars. It's a big blue kind of foam thing that you can actually get all the snow off. That means off the roof, off of all of the windows, off of the hood, all those places, because it both keeps you safe as well as other people. So you can see out of the car, see other people, as well as not leave a trail of your own blizzard as you're driving down the roadway.
Right. And I've seen it where people come up to a stop sign and all of a sudden all that snow comes right down on top of the windshield there. And it's too thick at that point. They can't even scrape it off with the windshield wipers. So they've gotten to talk to me about that as to why they allowed that, because that is a dangerous thing. So at that point, they either have to continue to stay inside or in the lane there, blocking it, or they're going to do something worse and they're going to drive through where they can't see so they can get off and try and do that. So both of those are bad. So make sure you do that before you get into the car.
Yeah, and I know that's our pet peeve. I know that's a lot of drivers' pet peeves is you see these people where they have the porthole cleaned off of their windshield and they don't even get any of the windshields. They don't even get the full windshield. No. It takes a couple minutes, cleared off for your safety, everybody else. Yes. That is huge pet peeve of ours.
You get a large lecture from me and a ticket. So
that's the windows are required. You got to be able to see out of the windows.
Yes.
The roof is a smart, safe courtesy thing. It's not necessarily a law violation. But
because there's a lot of times you can't see anything when those things are blowing back.
No, it is. It's like your own little blizzard you're creating.
It is,
and that's not in a good way.
No, we're not singing songs and roasting marshmallows.
No, don't do that.
All right, so I have got a couple of videos I put together. This is the people that are not driving correctly. And so we wanted to show you kind of what people are doing when it's bad weather out there, bad roads. And we wanted to just kind of talk about it, of what they're doing wrong and what you should be doing in that. So here's the first one. So it looks like good roads. I mean, you can see it, but you can see that there is a little snow on the sides and it's going to have ice. And there we go. And there it was. It was a bridge also. And this person is lucky that the semi didn't just hit them.
That was that was truly a nice little 360 there, but that is not something you want to be doing. And thank goodness they didn't get hit by that semi or someone else.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've seen this, so I haven't seen any of these videos that Gary's showing, because this is unfortunately we see this stuff, and maybe with some dash cam videos if we can at some point and try and show those. But these are just some that you found.
Yeah, these are just civilians out there driving around that have cameras in their car, and they were able to
crazy
have these. So
so you're saying clear roads are not, if I can see the pavement, I can't go the speed limit or above?
Right. That is too fast for conditions, because we have possible black ice.
Yes. And it does happen where I think a lot of people get overconfident because you start to see, oh, now I can see the roadway. Yeah, there's snow all over, but that means I can speed down the road. No, right. That's the road is still slick, and you need to be prepared for those incidents where you may have to stop quickly. You may have to avoid something. A driver like that who just happens to lose control, think beyond yourself as well. If that driver doesn't have good tires, has bald tires, spins out, you need to be able to safely get around them as well. If you hit them, you could be in violation of the law. You may get a ticket too, because you should have been able to control your car.
Yeah. And if you notice, this was not on a curve, it was straight, and that can still happen. So they weren't doing anything, just driving along, and they lost traction. So those are the kind of things we're seeing there. So let's take a look at another one here. So again, you can see the road just kind of wet, it looks like, but these are the things you have to be careful of, because look what's going to come up here. You've got some snow and stuff and ice, and then you have a car that almost got hit again.
And I think that's another semi filming it based on the angle. I think that was a semi.
And it could be, and I don't want to get hit by anybody, but definitely not a semi or some big rig that comes up on you, even a big truck.
Well, even wet, we're talking, slush can be some of the more dangerous stuff too. As it starts to thaw, your tires cannot push enough of that out of the way, and it kind of compacts it / pushes it. So it can create a really slippery patch when you hit those slushy areas. So that's almost more dangerous at times.
Right. And there can still be a patch of ice underneath those things that you can't see. So again, black ice, can't see it. That's why we don't do those speed limits. And everybody thinks that it's 65, it's 75, I can do that. And it's not, because if we give you a ticket, it's going to be too fast for conditions.
Yeah, it's a posted speed limit. If you read the laws like we do and study them, it is for clear, dry roadways, and everything's going well, and that is the posted speed limit, not minimum. But if the weather changes, that means the speed limit has been reduced and the safe speed has changed. So that speed limit sign kind of really is not really applicable at that. So you need to be going slower than that. I love the variable speed limit signs that we have around in some areas that are electronic and they actually change, so we can show people more of the safe speed,
Right.
and get them to realize, that hard sign, that posted sign is not applicable in that weather.
And even then on those signs like that may be set up, 20 minutes ago, but the road has deteriorated again, and you still need to continue to slow down and make sure. So you need to be able to stop for whatever reason you have, whether it's debris, a car on the roadway, or the conditions are just getting too bad.
Well, personally, I would rather just slow down by 10, 15 miles an hour, or whatever it is, for that time, rather than get in a crash and then really get slowed down or hurt.
Right.
I think that's pretty basic.
It is. All right. So let's go take a look at another one here. All right. So another one here, you've got bad roads, people going too fast, and this guy just loses it because look at all the stuff that's on the road.
They're lucky going down that embankment, they didn't roll as well. I mean, we see that a lot too, where losing control of the car, you go down an embankment and they've rolled and somebody's really hurt now because they've hit a tree and rolled, all because of, again, going too fast.
That's
overconfidence.
Yeah, a lot of these that we're showing here are what you call if you have to, the better crash, because it's just not as jarring and devastating as some of those other ones. So we're just going to keep showing some other ones here. Here's another one. So now you see people on the left side of the road with their cars, and they're outside of the vehicle, and look what happens with this Ryder truck. It's
a sheet of ice too. I mean, you see the pavement, but obviously it's just ice. You can see how they're spinning.
And it just took their car that was blocking them,
thank
and
goodness they're alive.
took it right off there. Yeah. And that's one of those things I always tell people. If you can, stay in your vehicle.
Yes.
But if it is so dangerous to be in the vehicle, then get out of the car, get off the road, get away from the roadway so that you don't have something like this happen.
And if there's a barrier, guardrail, something off the side, get well behind that, get away, but still pay attention, because somebody may be sliding out and they were going too fast coming up, where that was their out and they panicked and they're going toward you. You try and stay in your vehicles because it's designed to protect you. You have all these things designed for a crash that automakers make. But yes, it can be dangerous being in your car, but then you need to get away from it. You should not be ever standing out in the roadway like that.
No.
You get killed doing that.
Yeah, your body just can't handle a car coming up on it like that. So
no, and I think as we're looking at this too, I think it's important that this is SUVs, cars, everybody that we're talking to. This is not just limited to a certain type of driver. Because we hear that a lot. Right?
I've got 4-wheel drive and I can do it.
No. Yes, you have 4-wheel drive. Terrific. I hope you have great tires on there too, but that is not going to help you stop any better in a lot of these situations. And yes, it may help you stop shorter if you've got tires, you have the properly set up, you're paying attention, all that. But it's not going to make a huge difference if you are 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive when you're needing to make those evasive maneuvers. So yes, it'll help you get going, but we just remind you to be cautious no matter what you're driving.
And both of us have been on those snowstorms along the interstate and had plenty of 4-wheel drive vehicles off the side of the road or in crashes.
Oh yeah, of course. And I'll also throw out, it's not just 4-wheel drive versus 2-wheel drive. It's also the whole in-state, out-of-state argument that we always hear. Yes, some people aren't used to the snow as much, but Colorado drivers crash quite a bit, as well as out-of-state drivers. So you can't blame it on any certain group. Everybody needs to drive with caution, and the snow, rain, all of that is going to reduce your traction on the roadway.
All right, one last one, and we're going to look at this one. So this one spells disaster before you even see it. He's going really fast around a curve. We've got snow. He's never going to make that. And look at this.
And I'm going to say, for the situation, they're pretty fortunate that wasn't worse. And thank goodness nobody else was coming the other direction, because that happens as well. So
you do actually have a car coming, but he's got enough distance.
Right, exactly.
It's not there. Yeah, so if it had been right there, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, and again, it's curves. It's just preparing for the unexpected and giving yourself more time, slowing down. And we preach it like crazy, but slow down and give yourself extra time. That means following distance in case somebody does spin out like this, that you've got some space to react. You're going slow enough that you can, safely slow down and take some evasive maneuvers if you have to yourself. So it's the things that we preach it in dry roads, but really is important when inclement weather strikes.
So we have the holidays coming up, and Thanksgiving is our next one. And so we're going to have a lot of people that are traveling.
Yep.
And so this is what we really, are always concerned about, is that if you are going to travel, take, heed of what we've shown you here, the advice we've given you, and keep those speeds down and be prepared if you do get stuck.
Right. If you're trying to rush that pie over to a family house or something, I believe it or not, it can be a couple minutes slower, and it's worth, driving. Drive like, we tell people stuff this, like drive like your grandmother's in the car holding a cherry pie and, a casserole or something like that, and just pretend like she's in the car the whole time. How would you drive with her in the car? Well, that's how you should be driving.
Yes.
Very cautiously, take your time, and then make it there safely.
Yeah.
And we know, some people aren't going to be traveling during the holidays to family gatherings, but we know
Mhm.
people are still going to be out on the roadway in general, even just making those essential trips. So just be careful.
Yeah. And, I was driving down the road today and I'll tell you, with Thanksgiving coming up, I was a little shocked and a little disappointed. People have their Christmas lights up and on already.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people in my neighborhood have already started to put them up, and I'm okay with that. Just don't turn them on yet. I think, I think there's an unwritten rule of after Thanksgiving.
Yes. And I mean, I drove by this guy's house, and I'll show you the picture here. And that's what made me start thinking about this again, is like, it's my pet peeve,
Yeah.
Give it time. I understand, the commercialism of, as far as businesses need
Right.
to get it going before Halloween. Which
No, I think it started in August. I think August, you start going to the stores and you start hearing the Christmas music. And
Mhm.
I am sorry, retail employees. I worked in retail. It is, those songs get really rough, and seeing it earlier and earlier every year now is got to be tough. But yeah, I think it's unwritten. 12:01, right after Thanksgiving, 12:01 a.m.
Yeah. Then you can have them
Flip
up.
on those lights.
That's right. And then right after Christmas, flip those lights
No,
off.
I say I go a little bit longer. I would go till New Year's
New
personally.
Year's,
Or my neighbor, her birthday's shortly after, so she keeps her stuff up a little longer.
Christmas lights for your birthday.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, it's right around the season, so we'll let that one slide. But in general, I'd say New Year's,
Mhm.
because you can give a little leeway.
Yeah.
They're already up,
Okay.
and then you don't have to take them down if the weather's bad. We don't want you falling.
But I don't want to see them up there the 4th of July either. Okay.
No.
It's like if they're sitting up there hanging, it's not a one-time, leave them up the rest of your life. You have
Well,
to have
when
them.
I moved into my previous house, I tried to decorate this pine tree that we had, and I looked in the tree, and there were still Christmas lights from the previous people that they just left in the tree. So at that point, I think they just became part of
I
the
was gonna
tree.
say, well, maybe at that point they realized they couldn't get back
They're
up
just
into that
grown
tree.
in. Yeah, so yeah, don't leave them up. Take them down as well. We'll disagree a little bit on right after Christmas,
Yeah,
but
okay.
somewhere around that time frame. I think that's the
That's
unwritten
right.
rule. You guys may think different. Let us know your opinion, because this may just be us. Maybe we're just crazy, but I think it's coming earlier and earlier. You gotta also, personally, I think you gotta live in the moment a little more, right? I mean, you gotta
enjoy it.
Yeah, quit looking forward to, Christmas is here, and then, we got to look beyond that. Remember, take the time to enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy those times together, and not always just looking 3 months down the roadway, because then you miss out on the current. It's kind of soapbox there, but I would just say that too.
That's good. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much our show for this time. We've hopefully you guys have learned some stuff on it. And we will be back here again next month. We're also on Spotify, and come and check all of our stuff out.
Yeah, and make sure as you watch our podcast, there is a playlist set up so you can catch our previous podcasts as well. Make sure that you subscribe and click that notification bell so you're actually getting notified of all of our either podcasts or other videos. And we always appreciate when you comment. We try, and if you look at us, our previous videos, we try and interact with you. We wanna be open, and this is our time to really answer your questions and everything. So please comment, like, subscribe, all that. We appreciate it. We obviously don't get paid. We don't get ad revenue or anything, but we do this for you to be able to watch and enjoy.
I'm still going for my 1 million subscribers, but keep that going. All right. Until next time, stay safe.
Take care.